We'll start with Brent and then go to Kellyanne in the back.
Coach, I got to ask, do you have any kind of injury update, or are we supposed to go with Wes's quote?
Yeah, since Wes is here on time, we'll just we'll go with his quote from earlier in the week and be able to ride with that up until kickoff.
Hey, Coach, has Cedric been able to practice this week, and if so, how much has he been able to do?
All those guys that were nicked up last week, those guys we're going to find out here in the next couple days where they're at and their availability for the game. Hopeful with all of them.
Jimmy?
Josh, what makes Florida's run game so effective?
First of all, they got good skill players, and they're big, strong, physical up front, and you got to be able to handle their unbalanced sets and communicate and be gapped out. And because of the athletes that have the ball in their hands, you got to do a great job of tackling. And that's the running backs, but it's the quarterbacks too.
Austin?
Josh, Florida did that big nose tackle, massive. Y'all went against Jordan Davis last year. How do you compare those two? And because Cooper was able to go in that game against Georgia last year, I feel like that prepares him to go against this kid too.
Yeah, he's a unique body and just body type, and obviously his athleticism at that size is rare. Coop's gone against a guy like that before. We've gone against it offensive line. The battle in the trenches this week will be a big part of how the football game unfolds, and we got to do a good job on the offensive line of controlling their entire front, not just him.
Patrick?
Coach, you guys are 8 and 9 on fourth down this season. I know a lot of the short yardage, different spots on the field. How do you go about those calls? How much is analytics involved? Is it a gut feel? How do you kind of evaluate those?
We talk about it as a staff, in our game day meeting, just kind of my thought process and how situations might unfold in different field zones, and then there's a feel for the game too, and how things are structurally playing out and your matchups during the course of it.
Yeah.
Josh, there's been a lot going on outside of the building this week around campus, and I'm sure there's been some extra interviews here and there because of college game day. Do you feel like the guys have handled all the peripheral stuff and stayed focused on the main thing this week?
Yeah, early in the week there's a little bit of extra. There's probably a little bit here on the back end of the week too, on Friday afternoon before you get to Saturday. Our guys have been really good. The focus has been really good. The practices have been intentional in the way they've approached it. The next 48 hours continuing our prep and finishing our preparation will be a big part of it. The outside noise, the opportunity that's here, like you work to have these opportunities, and early in the week, I told our players to enjoy the fact that we have this opportunity, but that has nothing to do with how we play. We got to prepare the right way, and we've been pretty good up until this point, so we got to finish it out.
Eric?
Josh, Florida has experienced safeties there in the back end, play a lot of football. It was an impact play there. What challenges do they present, disguising coverages and just overall their play?
Yeah, I just think in general they're really good football players that have played a bunch of football. We've seen them, their ability to be in coverage and do a really good job of that, and then their ability to tackle in space. Inevitably, most of your run game is designed where the ball's going to get to the third level, and your back's got to make that guy miss to create some big plays in it, and that'll be a big part of the game here. Obviously, I talked about handling their front, but their safeties do a great job in the run fits too.
Mike and Jimmy?
Hey, Josh, can you talk about Anthony Richardson? I think this will be his first role start. How important will crowd noise be to a young quarterback, and what do you see in Florida's signal call?
Yeah, he's got the ability, arm talent to push the ball down the football field. They have playmakers on the outside. His ability to be a factor in the run game, and that can be quarterback designed run game, that can be read game, and that could be him scrambling outside of the pocket when his reads aren't open. He's got the ability to create huge plays in the run game. We got to bottle him up in the pocket, not let him get out. We got to do a great job of tackling him in space, and it's his combination of athleticism and size that is rare at that position. That can be an issue at times, and so crowd noise. I can't imagine that this won't be the loudest stadium in the country on Saturday. Cannot imagine that it wouldn't be that way. And it was loud last year at times, and certainly here in the early part of the season, but I expect it to be absolutely electric for 60 minutes.
Josh, typically Florida's defensive backs are really good at press coverage. Do you like where your receivers are against press coverage?
Yeah, it's another game within the game, matchup within the game that will have a huge bearing on the game, right? And we got to be able to go win against those guys. It is press coverage, and yeah, we anticipate or believe in our guys. You know, that's a part of how we play, and believe in the guys that we got out there.
Wes?
Josh, when you're trying to teach a football team how to improve or how to just generally how to tackle in space, obviously these days you can't hit the way you used to, you know, back when you played, even beyond that. How do you get guys to work on, you know, tackling better in space?
Yeah, tackling's about your eyes being right and body position, and so you can emphasize those things in every drill and every team setting, how you finish every play that you have, and if you're in those positions, I'm not gonna say the tackling takes care of itself, but it kind of does, you know, and obviously we work things in you know, non-physical portions, you know what I mean, where we're working on donuts and those types of things as well. We did more during the course of training camp than we did a year ago just because our team was deeper. We had better practice habits, so we were able to, you know, do those things and not put kids in as vulnerable situations, and you know, tackling will be a big part of the game here on Saturday.
Austin.
The focus of the recruiting world will be here on Saturday. How do you balance that versus getting ready to coach a football game and then know that, you know, that atmosphere that Mike asked about can have a huge impact on, you know, the momentum you guys get with that?
Yeah, it can have a huge impact on the game. Expect it to have a huge impact on the game. Make it as hard as possible for them to communicate. Expect our crowd to be a huge factor in the game, but it's also a great environment for our recruits to be able to see what game day looks like here, man. There's nothing better than game day here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it starts when we load the buses and drive over, and you can see the fans along the river, whether that's on the boats or tailgating on the other side of it. And when you get out for ball walking, there's 40,000 people, man. There's nothing like it in college sports. Recruiting, it's a huge weekend for us, and you don't do anything that takes away from your preparation, your players' preparation. The game's the most important thing, but those moments that you have an opportunity to, the recruiting piece is vital to, you know, the continued growth of our program.
Patrick?
Coach, you said a few times where you talked to your team earlier this week and said sort of embrace this opportunity because they've created for themselves. I guess some coaches would probably be like, block all of it out, don't listen to any of it. Why did you do that? Why did you kind of point that out to your team to sort of embrace the stage that's going to be?
Yeah, because it's impossible to block out the noise in today's world. You know, it's absolutely impossible. So they're going to see it and hear it. You can't let it affect what matters, which is your preparation. Everybody's going to want to win on game day. You got to do what it takes to win, and so I think that's important. Our kids should be and are excited about this one. It's always big when we play Florida, and so embrace that at the beginning of the week, and then be consistent. You know, if you guys were out at practice, you know, the energy, you've heard me speak, it's not a whole lot different, man. We're business-like in our approach. Our kids have a much better understanding of how to prepare, and now we got to finish it and go play.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it, guys.